Welcome to Service Done Right, a podcast dedicated to transforming the service industry. I'm your host, DJ Biersack, and I am joined by Reach CEO and founder, Greg Biersack.
DJ, once again, great to be with you.
I am excited today to talk about what manufacturers mean to Reach and the journey of the beginning of Reach to where you are now in regards to manufacturer relationships. And so, because the business model and structure of Reach is so unique, I know that it was a challenge at the beginning to get manufacturers on board. So how did Reach get to the point where there's manufacturers that help the technicians do their job? And what's the benefit for them? How has that helped Reach? And walk me through the challenges that you had to go through to get to this point.
Yeah. So I'll unpack it in a few different ways. The structure is unique, right? What we do, how we do it, is different than any of the models that have existed in the industry so far. That most of the manufacturers, they're used to working with kind of the classic dealership. And so they understand that. They're also familiar with independent technicians. Usually it's one or two technicians that are working completely on their own. And then there's another model that was like a franchise. And so they had not seen anything where there was a service company who was dedicated to repair and maintenance. And anytime there's something new like that, they're trying to figure it out. Exactly how does this work? And your technicians aren't going to be doing installs. How does this all gonna function? And so for me, a lot of it was having conversations with lots of manufacturers, telling them about our vision, telling them about the role of the technician and how those great technicians can be recognized and rewarded. And I think the more conversations I have, and I just had to realize it was going to take persistence and it was going to take patience, but each conversation helps that manufacturer realize this is the future. This is where it's going, where the great technicians have a chance to be part of something that they are really appreciated, they're really rewarded, and that they have a chance to be able to deliver a level of service to the client that they've never been able to deliver before because there's not limitations that exist for them. And so enrolling those manufacturers in that vision, helping them to understand that, this really important piece. And like I said, it's involved lots of conversations, but that's okay, right? That anytime you're doing something that's really cool, that's really transformative, it's going to take lots of conversations. And it's been very rewarding as those manufacturers that we are partnered with, they're like, I get it. I know where you're going. And I can see that that's where this needs to go.
That's the point of why Reach exists and the reason this podcast exists is because we want to transform the service industry. And these are those steps to incrementally make that happen, to show people a glimpse of the future and show them what is possible through a model like Reach. And being able to expand that and open people's eyes into seeing things differently. Sometimes it just takes that one person or that one company in Reach's case to be able to open the eyes of manufacturers, but then people outside of that, people to be able to see that the service industry does need to change, and here is something that is a very clear sign of the future. So moving into the future though, what are some trends that you notice or things that are coming up that are, in between the relationship of the manufacturer and the technician, especially in Reach's case? How do you see that moving forward in the future?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I think this is a really important trend for manufacturers to understand, to think about. That if you ask most of the manufacturers, is service really amazing in the dental industry? If they were truthful, they would say no. Right? It needs to be better. It can be better. And so for them to be able to see that there's these pieces that are moving forward, allowing it to be better. Part of it is what a company like Reach is doing, right? Where those technicians can make this huge impact for their clients. I think that there's a trend where those really good technicians are dissatisfied with being part of a huge company where they may not feel that kind of that love and respect that they'd like. And so one of the trends is you see a lot of those guys saying, well, I think I'm just going to become an independent technician. Well, one of the other trends now is the really good technician saying, I want to be part of Reach. I want to be part of a service company. And so for manufacturer to understand that's where these trends are going. And for them to also understand a trend is where is that influence coming from and who's recommending products? And so for them to look at it and go, wow, a Reach technician's relationship with their clients is really, really deep. And so who's influencing that client when it comes to their purchasing decisions? And for those manufacturers to understand that that role of that technician plays a key part in the decisions that that doctor makes. Right? We were talking a little bit about the independent technicians, and the independent technicians, almost all of them sell equipment. And that's another trend, right? So for those manufacturers to say, ooh, what does that mean? What does that look like within our industry? And so those are these trends that are occurring for every manufacturer to understand. And that's part of these conversations that I have with them to say, this is where it's going. What part do you want to play? And so fortunately, we've had a number of manufacturers who've totally got that, right? That they've got, this is where this is going. And every month, there's another group of manufacturers that say, I want to be part of that. I understand that I need to be part of that influence that is occurring by those great technicians.
Well, thank you so much for giving us a really exciting glimpse into the future of service and what trends look like for the future and what Reach is doing to help make that a reality. It's really really great hearing the innovative thinking and the thought process to get to this point that you're at, and then how Reach and other companies that grow in a similar vein are going to continue to transform the world of service. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Oh, it is my pleasure. There's so many cool things that are happening out in front of us. And to be able to partner with those manufacturers for those things is going to be incredibly rewarding, right? Internet of Things is out ahead of us. A number of manufacturers are already highly engaged in it. I think they're going to be challenged with, okay, we've collected this information. Where does it go, right? And for them to know they've got a partner in Reach, right? That can be that resource that can help them, that can support that initiative in succeeding, to me is incredibly rewarding. And so I'm excited about our current relationships, and I'm excited about all the relationships that are out ahead of us.
Well, thank you so much for sharing everything, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Service Done Right. This is a podcast that is dedicated to transforming the service industry, and it's really amazing to see what is happening in front of us and get a glimpse into that transformation that's happening. So I am your host, DJ Biersack, and I am joined by Reach CEO and founder, Greg Biersack. Greg, thanks so much for being with us.
It is my pleasure.